Although the Book of Esther offers up a lot of unfamiliar names, from the king's 7 eunuchs to the 10 sons of the villain Haman, there are really only 3 central characters in this story. If you can't remember anyone else from the Book of Esther, remember these 3: Esther, Mordecai, and Haman. In the first video in this series, we talked about how the Book of Esther is a reassurance that God's plan for His people will not be denied. And each of the 3 main characters in this story fits into that framework. Esther is our heroine. Sure, she's got a beautiful face, but more than that, she's a woman of character. When Mordecai begs her to use her influence to stop the terrible plot against the Jews, she displays willingness and courage. She bravely approaches the king, in spite of the fact that doing so could mean death. Later, in the face of Haman's evil, Esther is unflinching. She reveals his wicked plot and pleads humbly and fervently for the life of her people. Mordecai is also heroic. Although the Book of Esther never explicitly states a reason for Mordecai's unwillingness to worship Haman, the meaning behind his actions is implied. As a Jew, Mordecai worships God and God alone. At every point in this story, Mordecai is in the right place at the right time. He is humble, faithful, and intelligent. He is willing to risk everything for his God and to sacrifice his own life for the sake of his people. Although Mordecai does end up in position of power, he doesn't seek it out and uses this power for good. By contrast, our villain Haman is as unpleasant as they come. He's self-interested, arrogant, vain, and self-important. He takes offense easily and uses his position of authority to wage a war against his perceived enemies. Of course, in the end, it's Haman who meets with a terrible fate. He's hung on the very same gallows he built to kill Mordecai. Looking at these characters collectively, you could say that the Book of Esther isn't just another chronicle of persecution and retribution. It's about something more: developing godly character. And Esther, Mordecai, and Haman are like 2 sides of the same coin. Esther and Mordecai demonstrate what godly character is, while Haman shows clearly what it isn't. While Esther and Mordecai choose integrity in the face of opposition, Haman uses slyness to forward his own agenda. While Esther and Mordecai risk everything for others, Haman thinks only of himself. These contrasts point to one of the underlying messages of Esther, that God is at work to bring about His good plan. And as God works in our lives, it's up to us to choose what is right so that we can be a part of that plan.